A disturbing video surfaced online this week, exposing what appears to be a blatant act of racial discrimination by a police officer against a young pregnant woman. The footage, which has already garnered millions of views across multiple platforms, shows the officer aggressively confronting the woman during a routine traffic stop that quickly escalated into a traumatic encounter. Eyewitnesses report that the woman, identified only as Maya, was calm and cooperative throughout the exchange. Despite this, the officer proceeded to shout racial slurs and physically intimidate her, all while she was visibly pregnant. The incident, captured by a bystander's phone, has ignited widespread outrage and reignited debates over systemic racism within law enforcement. According to Maya's family, she has been dealing with anxiety and severe stress following the incident. She feared not just for her own life, but for her babies, said her sister. No one should ever have to go through this, especially not when you've done nothing wrong. Community leaders and civil rights activists have condemned the officer's behavior and are demanding accountability. This is not an isolated event, said activist Jordan Lewis. It's part of a deeply rooted pattern where people of color, especially women, are treated as threats rather than humans. The police department has placed the officer on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. However, critics argue that internal reviews often fail to deliver justice and are calling for an independent inquiry. We're tired of seeing these officers get paid vacations after traumatizing civilians, said one protester during a rally held outside the precinct. The viral nature of the video has pushed the story into the national spotlight, prompting responses from politicians, public figures, and social justice organizations. Hashtags like #JusticeForMaya and #InPoliceRacism are trending, and a petition demanding the officer's termination has already reached over 500,000 signatures. What makes this case particularly harrowing is not just the racism. It's the vulnerability of the victim. A pregnant woman, already carrying the physical and emotional weight of impending motherhood, was forced to endure hate, fear, and violence from someone sworn to protect her. As the investigation unfolds, the public's message is clear. Enough is enough. The demand for reform is not just about punishing one officer. It's about dismantling a culture that allows these incidents to happen again and again. In a chilling reminder of the racial injustices still embedded in law enforcement, a video showing a visibly pregnant black woman being harassed by a white police officer has gone viral, sparking national outrage and reigniting calls for systemic police reform. The woman, identified as Maya Johnson, was pulled over in what should have been a routine traffic stop in the city of Westfield. Instead, the encounter quickly turned hostile. Captured on a bystander's cell phone, the footage shows the officer yelling at Maya, berating her with racially charged language and aggressively demanding she exit the vehicle, despite her calmly stating her condition and cooperating fully. Fear in her eyes, life in her belly. In the video, Maya can be seen placing her hands on the steering wheel, her voice steady but frightened. "I'm pregnant. Please don't touch me," she says, trying to de-escalate the situation. The officer responds with threats of arrest and more shouting, while passers-by begin to gather in disbelief. One witness can be heard saying, "Why is he yelling like that? She didn't even raise her voice." Maya was eventually released without charges after nearly 30 minutes of humiliation. But the emotional and psychological toll remains. She hasn't slept in days, says her partner, Darnell, in an interview. She keeps replaying in her head, what if she had moved wrong? What if she had lost the baby from the stress? A familiar pattern of violence. This incident is tragically familiar to many in marginalized communities. Though Maya's case has gone viral, echoes a long history of over-policing, racial profiling, and excessive use of force, especially against black women. These patterns often go unaddressed because the victims survive. But survival shouldn't be the benchmark for justice. Dr. Renee Howard, a sociologist specializing in race and gender, explains, pregnant black women are already at higher risk for complications due to systemic healthcare disparities. When you add the trauma of state-sanctioned intimidation, the effects can be devastating, not just physically but emotionally and generationally. Institutional response or damage control. The Westfield Police Department issued a brief statement confirming the officer, whose name has not been officially released, has been placed on administrative leave. But critics are already calling it a performative gesture. "We've seen this before," says civil rights attorney Malik Owens. "A suspension, a closed-door investigation, and the public slowly forgets. We're not interested in waiting anymore. We want charges. We want policy changes. We want protections." Demonstrations have erupted in multiple cities, with protesters holding signs that read "Pregnant, not a threat," and "Protect Black Mothers." A growing petition demanding the officer's immediate dismissal and prosecution has surpassed 650,000 signatures within 72 hours. Justice beyond the viral moment. The video's viral spread has drawn the attention of national media outlets and prompted commentary from celebrities and politicians. But activists caution that outrage must be followed by tangible change. "This is not just about one bad cop," says activist Nia Rhodes. "This is about a system that allows bad cops to flourish. It's about how Black women are never seen as soft, as vulnerable, as worthy of care." Maya was not only a woman, she was a mother-to-be, and she was still treated like a criminal. Where do we go from here? Maya Johnson's story is now part of a larger tapestry of pain, protest, and persistence. Her courage in sharing her trauma publicly is not just a cry for justice. It's a call to action. For every viral video, there are countless others who suffer in silence, without cameras, without witnesses, without justice. To address this crisis, communities are demanding mandatory body cameras on all officers at all times, federal oversight of departments with repeated racial misconduct, training programs focused on racial bias, mental health, and handling vulnerable individuals like pregnant women, accountability measures that don't just move abusive officers to a different precinct. Until these changes are made, not promised but implemented, the public will continue to speak out. The message is clear. Law enforcement must protect all citizens, not terrorize the most vulnerable among them. Maya Johnson deserved compassion. Instead, she received cruelty. And until that balance is corrected in every police department across the country, no one is truly safe. A future still worth fighting for. Despite the heartbreak and anger this incident has sparked, many are choosing to channel their pain into purpose. In cities across the country, grassroots organizations are using Maya's story to fuel educational workshops, community support groups, and voter mobilization efforts aimed at reforming local justice systems from the ground up. One such initiative, Mothers for Justice, has begun organizing healing circles for women who've experienced police violence while pregnant or parenting. "This isn't just about what was done to Maya," says founder Alicia Freeman. "It's about what has been done to hundreds of women who never got to tell their story. We're building space for them now." The spotlight on Maya's case has also reignited efforts to pass long-stalled legislation at the state and federal level. Proposals like the Safe Stops Act, which would place stricter regulations on how officers conduct traffic stops involving vulnerable individuals, are gaining traction with bipartisan support. For the first time in a long time, there is momentum. Still, change won't come easily. Systemic racism is resilient, and the structures that allow it to persist are deeply entrenched. But stories like Maya's, raw, painful, and undeniably human, have the power to break through political noise and make people listen. As Maya continues to recover privately with her family, her name has become a symbol of both suffering and strength. Whether or not the justice system delivers the accountability she deserves, the public has already declared its verdict. Her story matters. Her life matters. And in the fight for justice, so does her baby's.